Good morning to all of you. Now, in upcoming videos, we are talking about the estrogen, progestin, and hormonal contraceptive. So, before going to that part, we will understand how the gonadotropins and other drugs work. Okay, so today's we discuss about the gonadotropins releasing hormone, and agonist and antagonist of the gonadotropins. So let's start with the gonadotropins. So these gonadotropins, it is a follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Both are the peptide, and they are the secreted from the anterior pituitary, particularly the anterior lobe. Okay, and we already learned in the physiology about their physiological function. So they promote the gametogenesis and ultimately increase the secretion of the gonadal hormones. So let's first discuss of the follicle stimulating hormone. So this FSH, it's in female, it induce the follicular growth. It role in the development of the ovum, and it secretes the estrogen. So this FSH, okay, this FSH, it's responsible for the secretion of the estrogen, okay, in females, and in males it's role of the spermatogenesis. Then LH, luteinizing hormone. This luteinizing hormone we already know about. It induces the pre-ovulatory swelling of the Graafian follicle, ripening. It also triggers the ovulation. Before the ovulation, there is a LH surge. Okay, so this LH surge is important for the ovulation. Okay, it also responsible for the progesterone secretion in females. Okay, in male there is a secretion of the testosterone. So LH, okay, luteinizing hormone, it is for the progesterone and testosterone. Follicle stimulating hormone, it is for the spermatogenesis in male, and there is a secretion of the estrogen. So try to remember this thing. Okay, how the regulation of the secretion of these gonadotropins occur. So in hypothalamus, we all know about there is a releasing hormone, various releasing hormone. It is available in the hypothalamus. Okay, so this hypothalamus, it is secrete the gonadotropin releasing hormone, or also we can call the LHRH, FSH, LH or RH, or other word, it is a gonadorelin. So try to remember gonadotropin releasing hormone or gonadorelin. The both are the same thing. Okay, and this GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, it is secreted in the pulsatile in the manner. Okay, and it also there is a change in the frequency and amplitude also. So how it works, let's see. So during the follicular phase, there is a high frequency of this gonadotropin releasing hormone, and it in the low amplitude. But when there is a luteal phase, there is a lower frequency. Gonadotropin releasing hormone, it is in the lower frequency and higher amplitude. Okay, so how this feedback of inhibition of luteinizing hormone occur or FSH occur? It's so this luteinizing hormone feedback is more marked than the follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, and let's see the various inhibitory. Okay, so inhibin, which is the one peptide which is secreted from the testes and ovaries. Okay, this inhibin, it is a peptide which is from the ovaries and testes. It selectively inhibits the FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. It is inhibited but not LH. Other one, it is the dopamine. Dopamine हमारी बॉडी में जो होता है, it is inhibit the only the LH release but not the FSH. And this testosterone, it is inhibit the FSH and LH, but it is weaker. Okay, so it inhibit the both FSH and LH, and this inhibin, it is inhibit the follicle stimulating hormone. So how this inhibition occur of the feedback mechanism of the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, how it is inhibited. Okay, gonadotropin secretion increase at puberty, and it is higher in women than the male. Okay, in male part there is a more LH than the FSH because we need the testosterone. Okay, menstruating woman. Okay, in menstruating woman there is a it is a fluctuation in the cyclical manner. There is an increase in the FSH and increase in the LH occur. Okay, so in the follicular phase we know there is a role of the more FSH. So there is an increase in the FSH and lower level of the LH. We went to the mature of the ova. ovum. Okay, so there is in the follicular phase there is a increase of the follicle stimulating hormone. Mid cycle there is an increase in the both, but we need the LH surge, so there is a more LH just before the ovulation. So just before the ovulation there is a LH surge, so there is a more LH. Okay, there is an increase in the LH. Then in luteal phase ultimately there is a progressive of the both, so there is a before ovulation, just pre-ovulation, there is an increase in LH. Try to remember this thing. And in the follicular phase there is a F for F, there is an increase in the FSH. So try to remember this thing. So various preparation it is available. It is a peptide, so it is not effective orally, and we give by the subcutaneous route or the intramuscular route. And how it is obtained? It is obtained from the before the recombinant human FSH and LH available. It is obtained from the female urine. Okay, so this menotropin it contains the both FSH or LH or some other preparation. It is a purely FSH. Okay, and it's called the uropolytropin or menotropin, pure FSH or FSH and LH combined. Okay, so this FSH and LH it is both combined or pure FSH, and we also having the recombinant human FSH, LH and HCG. So we have the recombinant also preparation also and other preparation also. So where to use this gonadotropin? Role of the gonadotropin, it is particularly in the infertility or amenorrhea. Okay, there is a amenorrhea, infertility, and particularly it's due to the deficient production of the gonadotropin. Okay, hypogonadotropin, hypopituitary. Okay, so there is if there is a hypopituitary, there is a decrease in the secretion of the gonadotropins, then we give these menotropins. Okay, there is a preparation, is a 75 international unit, pure FSH we can also use, or with the LH also use, and it's for the intramuscular route daily. Then we give the HCG, and there is a ovulation. Okay, there is ovulation occur within the next 24 to 48 hours in the 75% cases. Okay, so there is a good success ratio. So it is about the useful of this gonadotropin in the amenorrhea and infertility. Okay, suppress of the if we want to suppress the endogenous FSH LH secretion either by the continuous pre-treatment with the GnRH agonist or GnRH antagonist. Okay, so when we give this gonadotropin releasing gonadotropins FSH and LH, and we use for the infertility purpose. Okay, and we want the ovulation, and we want control ovulation, so we have to cut the endogenous FSH and LH secretion. Okay, we want some control, so we are giving the gonadotropin releasing hormone agonist. We see later. Okay, this GnRH agonist and antagonist, what is it and how it acts. So this GnRH agonist, gonadotropin releasing hormone agonist, and gonadotropin releasing hormone antagonist, both control this endogenous FSH and LH secretion, and we need this for the control ovulation. So this also useful as a pre-treatment part with this GnRH agonist or antagonist. Okay, in male there is a hypogonadotropic hypogonadism. Okay, so this there is a hypogonadotropic hypogonadism. Then we want to for the maturation of the sexual part, we give the androgens. Okay, we give the first the androgens. Then when we want fertile, okay, when we want to the fertility, then we have the role of the gonadotropins. So we start the HCG intramuscular route 2 to 3 times in a week. Okay, and then we add the follicle stimulating hormone for 3 to 4 months. Okay, and then ultimately reduce the dose of the HCG. It's useful in the male hypogonadotropic hypogonadism. Also we use in the in vitro fertilization to induce the maturation of the several ovum. Okay, several ova, if you want to mature for the maturation, then we give this follicle stimulating hormones. Let's see the ADR. So it's a gonadotropin. It's a roll over the ovary. So main part, it is about the ovary. Okay, so if we want to O for ovary, okay, O for ovary, ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, it can stimulate the ovary. There is ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. There is a multiple cyst formation, polycystic ovarian disease or PCOD, it also called. Due to this ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome or polycystic ovarian disease, there is a chances of the polycystic ovary, there is chances of the abdominal pain. Also there is a ovarian bleeding. Okay, ovarian bleeding. And due to this polycystic ovary, there is a chances of the multiple pregnancy. Okay, there is a multiple ova is fertilized, and ultimately there is a chance of the multiple pregnancy also, which is more seen with this gonadotropin releasing hormone, gonadotropins and gonadotropin releasing hormone agonist also. Okay, so these are the main ADR part. Milder ADR effect is the edema, headache. Okay, edema, headache and mood changes. O for ovary, O for edema. Okay, so it is the edema, headache and mood changes, which is hormonal preparation. So there is a most of the hormonal preparation, there is a chances of the mood changes. Okay, and it is if we use, then there is a precox puberty, मतलब puberty पहले आ सकती है. Okay, then allergic reaction, and also it is a increase in the hormone like the progesterone, estrogen. So there is a hormonal dependent malignancy. There is an increase in the chances of the hormonal dependent malignancy with this also, or some other disease also. Okay, so this, it is a ADR of these gonadotropins. So let's move towards the gonadotropin releasing hormone. How this gonadotropin releasing hormone, gonadotropin, why it is not useful as a gonadotropin, okay, as much as the gonadotropin or GnRH agonist or antagonist. Okay, so therapy with gonadotropin releasing hormone, why it is not useful in the particularly in the hypogonadism. If we give the gonadotropin releasing hormone, then it's a you are thinking it is increase the release of the gonadotropin. So why we are not using this? Because it increase the FSH and LH gonadotropin in if it secretes in the pulsatile manner only. Okay, so this gonadotropin releasing hormone, gonadotropin, it is the when we pulsatile in the nature, then it increase the follicle stimulating hormone or luteinizing hormone. If we give the continuous treatment, then there is a no increase in the FSH and LH. So it is not useful as much as the gonadotropin or GnRH agonist and antagonist. Okay, so ultimately it is particularly for the checking of the pituitary gonadal axis, it is working or not. Okay, so if we give the gonadotropin releasing hormone and it increase the release of the LH, then there is a proper working of the ovary. Okay, so it is for the particular checking of the pituitary gonadal axis, not for the some disease purpose. Okay, so we have the newer drugs. It is a GnRH agonist and antagonist. Try to remember two are the difference, GnRH agonist and antagonist. Okay, either it is called, sometimes there is a super active also called, or long acting GnRH agonist also. Okay, these are the longer acting drug, gonadotropin releasing hormone, and try to remember name. See the name here. Okay, it is the goserelin, nafarelin, triptorelin and leuprolide. So most of the drug it's contain the relin. Okay, most of the drug it's contain the relin. पीछे suffix में RELIN आएगा. Okay, so it's a nafarelin, goserelin. Also there is some other drug, buserelin, okay, deslorelin and hysterelin. These are the other drugs also, and in your KDT there is a mention of the goserelin, nafarelin, triptorelin and leuprolide. But some other suffix which contain the some drugs, relin, then try to remember there is a buserelin, okay, deslorelin and hysterelin. These are the also the gonadotropin releasing hormone agonist. So it's a longer acting, and why it's called the superactive? Because it's a more potent than the gonadotropin releasing hormone. Okay, it's a 150 times more potent. Most of the drug, it's a 100 to 150 times more potent, and it's a longer acting than the GnRH. So why we give this? It's when we are giving in the pulsatile in the manner. Okay, when we are giving the pulsatile in the manner, or initially it increase the gonadotropin secretion. So in pulsatile manner, if we use the GnRH agonist, okay, sorry, in GnRH agonist, it is a, okay, these are the, we are talking about GnRH agonist. So when we use in the pulsatile in manner, okay, pulsatile in manner, because we are not continuously daily administration not given, but every 90 minutes. Okay, if we give the every 90 minutes, then it increase the FSH and LH, increase the gonadotropin. Okay, increase the gonadotropin when we use in the pulsatile in the manner. Okay, so go to the gynec ward of gynec and try to how they use this GnRH agonist. Okay, so it increase the gonadotropin secretion. If we also give the continuous treatment, then most of the time, particularly when initiation of the therapy, there is a chances of the increase in the gonadotropin secretion. Okay, and it's a disadvantage of this GnRH agonist. Okay, but if we give the continuous treatment, then ultimately there is a decrease in the LHS, luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone. So ultimately there is a inhibition. There is an inhibition of this FSH and LH. So ultimately there is a suppression of the gonadal function, and it also called the pharmacological oophorectomy or orchidectomy. If you want to pharmacological oophorectomy and orchidectomy, and it is a reversible. When we stop the treatment, then ultimately it is a reversible. So it's called the reversible pharmacological oophorectomy or orchidectomy. And if in the it is asked in the MCQ, drug which is responsible for the pharmacological orchidectomy or oophorectomy, then it is a GnRH agonist. So try to remember this word in MCQ part. Also, it's having the various disadvantages. There is a it is like the menopausal, like the symptoms. There is a dryness in vagina. There is a mood changes, mood swing, and also it is a developing of the osteoporosis. There is a major ADR like the osteoporosis. If we are using the more time, then there is a chances of the osteoporosis. So various drug, let's see the various drug like the nafarelin. Okay, it is a more potent. Nafarelin, it is a more potent, longer acting. Okay, inhibition of the gonadotropin releasing in 1 month. When we give, then after the 1 month there is a inhibition of the gonadotropin release. So where this GnRH agonist, when we want to continuous treatment, when we give the continuous daily treatment, or if longer acting, then we are giving the intramuscular route. Okay, so ultimately we want to stop the FSH and LH. So condition, when we don't want this FSH and LH, then it is a continuous treatment, and these are the particularly central precoccus puberty, uterine fibroid, endometriosis. Okay, and it is also in assisted reproduction. There is a another role, but it is also useful in the assisted reproduction. So when we give in particular this precoccus puberty, endometriosis, fibroid, or for the prostatic carcinoma, okay, there is a continuous treatment. Is the continuous treatment. Ultimately we want to decrease the FSH and LH. Okay, so when there is a central precoccus puberty, more gonadotropin, then we are giving the 800 microgram 2 times in a day by the nasal spray. This nafarelin N4N, try to remember N4N, nafarelin nasal. Okay, nafarelin, it's a used by the nasal route, and also the one other drug, it is a buserelin. Okay, this buserelin, it also used by the nasal route. So try to remember this nasal route nafarelin, 800 microgram 2 times in a day. and ultimately it is the till the age of the 11 year in the girls and 12 years in the boys, because after that we want to puberty in. Okay, so if there is a precocious puberty then we give, but after the 11 year it is a normal thing. Okay, so then it is also useful in the uterine fibroid and endometriosis. We are giving this 200 microgram in 2 times in a day, okay, for that 3 to 6 months. Also this drug it is useful in the assisted reproduction, 400 microgram 2 times in a day intranasal, and reduced to the 200 microgram 2 times in a day when menstrual bleeding occurs. Okay, so we want to control the ovum, control the maturation of ovum and control manner. So we give this drug and ultimately we want to inhibit the endogenous LH and FSH secretion. And adverse effect, ultimately we talk in previous slide, it is about the just like the menopausal symptom. There is a hot flashes, loss of libido, vaginal dryness, emotional liability, and there is a osteoporosis. Okay, so there is some mood changes, and main it is a osteoporosis if we give the longer time. Okay, another drug it is a goserelin. This goserelin it is a depot injection available subcutaneous and intramuscular. So endometriosis and carcinoma of the prostate, these are the condition when we are using this drug intramuscularly, and it is a, if we are using the every 4 week, every 1 month, then 3.6 milligram, 3 months, then there is 3.6 into 3, almost the 3.6 into 3, there is a 10.8. so it is a useful of this goserelin. Okay, so these are the drugs, gonadotropin releasing hormone agonist drug, which are useful for the various conditions. Triptopyrin is another drug, so it is also useful. It is a longer acting, and it is a longer acting. Because this triptorelin it is a longer acting, again the same thing, it is again the same thing. If we want to the assisted reproduction, then we are the daily use for the endometriosis, carcinoma, prostate, fibroid, we are using the intramuscular route, and it is a 4 week. Okay, if there is a precocious puberty, every 4 week also we are using this drug. Okay, another drug it is a leuprolide, and same thing, goserelin, buserelin, triptorelin, naporelin. So these are the GnRH agonists. Then we have the gonadotropin releasing hormone antagonist. Okay, these are the antagonists, and it inhibits the gonadotropin secretion without causing initial stimulation. This GnRH agonist, हमारे पास पहले क्या थी, GnRH agonist. Okay, GnRH agonist, this goserelin, naporelin, buserelin, triptorelin, and leuprolide. These are the drug. It also inhibit the FSH and LH. Okay, but initially it increase. So it is the disadvantage of the GnRH agonist. So we have the overcome to this GnRH agonist, and we have the drug, it is a GnRH antagonist. So some other advantages, it is a quick gonadotropin suppression. Okay, also there is a, we have the quick suppression, so we have to start before laser time only from the 6th day. Okay, there is a less chances of the hyperstimulation syndrome. So GnRH agonist also having the polycystic ovary, there is a hyperstimulation syndrome, abdominal pain. So ये सब इसके साथ कम होगा. GnRH antagonist have the lesser ADR than the GnRH agonist, particularly the hyperstimulation syndrome. Okay, and it is a more complete suppression of the endogenous gonadotropin secretion. Okay, daily if we want to use, then we are taking the subcutaneous route, inhibit the LH surge, ganirelix and cetorelix. So यहाँ पे suffix it is a relix. Okay, यहाँ पे suffix is the relix, and वहाँ पे रेलिन, GnRH agonist जो थी it is a रेलिन, यहाँ पे रेलिस, X for inhibitor. Try to remember this thing, X for inhibitor antagonist. So short acting, there is a cetorelix and ganirelix. Longer acting, which are useful in the advanced carcinoma of the prostate. Then there is a, it's a drug, it is a Degarelix and Abarelix. So these are the GnRH antagonists. And we have now another orally effective gonadotropin releasing hormone antagonist. It is a elagolix. Try to remember this word. It is a elagolix. Elagolix. Okay, this elagolix, it is a orally effective GnRH antagonist. Then there is a, it is the answer, it is a elagolix. So in MCQ if someone asks और 5-4 नाम लिखे हैं, then there is a elagolix your answer. Elagolix, it is a orally effective GnRH antagonist. So try to remember this thing. Okay, so these are the references for today's video. Thank you.